Retreat's a new service that we are providing in partnership with the Dorset Mental Health Forum, and it's really about giving people better access to services when they feel that they may be experiencing a mental health crisis or a crisis of something that's happening in their life, or they're seeking to prevent a crisis. One of the most positive things about the retreat is that local people have been heavily involved in designing it. The retreat came out of a public review of mental health services in Dorset, which was led by the Clinical Commissioning Group. And the review really asked people what they thought of current mental health services and how they might like to see them change. The retreat is very much in response to what people told us about services needing to be far more accessible, and that people want to be able to use them when they feel that they need a service rather than waiting to be referred.
People tell us that often they have to become so unwell when they access mental health services, and that if they've been able to access a service earlier, they may well have been able to unlock some of the things that they can do for themselves. The retreat offers a non-clinical environment for people to make sense of their experiences, and in some ways normalising mental health instead of making it something that's very clinical, very scary, and something that people feel it takes them much longer to get back from. It feels like a safe place, it's warm, it's comfortable, it's a place when you're feeling high levels of distress, you can come and just feel safe, and that's so important.
Any visitor who arrives and it's their first time at the retreat, they'll be greeted at the door by one of our members of staff. They'll be given a tour, they'll be shown around. At that point we'll kind of try and make a decision on where we're going to go with them. Some people just want to utilise the space, test it, see how they feel in that kind of environment. Some people don't want to be around other people when they're in distress. They might go to a side room and we'll go and talk to them. And the first thing we're going to ask is kind of what's happening for you today.
Having nursing staff, but also having peer specialists who have been through it or have an understanding of what you're going through. And even if you say the same thing over and over and over again, they're still there to sort of help you through it and sort of look after you in a way and support you while it's a difficult time for you.
I have lived experience of mental health over probably about 20 years. I think it helps when people come in that they understand that I've been through similar situations to what they have. It makes you sort of be able to understand what they're going through. I think when people come to a retreat, they can just be themselves. It gives them the chance to just be in a social setting. There's always somebody that you can talk to and have a one-to-one with. I think you're never going to feel alone. We're open 7 days a week, so people can come as many times as they want to.
It's a new way of providing a mental health service, so rather than looking for illness and saying what's wrong with a person, when someone walks into the retreat, we're looking for what their strengths are. So actually you may feel pretty bad right now, but you have something in you that we recognise that means that we can support you to identify your own strengths in your recovery.
I think being able to come to a safe environment where you can speak to someone face to face about some of the issues that you might be facing at a particular time, and it's just more personal, you feel more connected to that person rather than just, on the phone perhaps sometimes. The timing that the retreat is open, so it's open in the evenings, and I find maybe for a lot of people that the evenings is actually a time where people might be struggling the most or feel most lonely. It's a completely different environment for people who are in a crisis than, say, A&E, for example. It's very calm. There's a lot of kind of respect, I think, because people come through the door and they want to use it, they want to get the best out of it.
The retreat has been and is my lifesaver in more way than one. Not only is it a place to come for support and in a time of crisis, but it has given me a new lease of life. It has opened up many doors that have been shut and locked tight for far too long. I finally feel I have somewhere I can be myself, and there is always someone on hand if I'm struggling.
So the retreat is something that we really absolutely believe will transform the face of mental health services in Dorset. We're looking to open another retreat in Dorchester, hopefully in April next year, and we will also use the learning from the retreat to shape some of the other projects and services that we're developing across Dorset.
But people always remember you, so you'll always have a nice welcome when you arrive. And again, you can integrate yourself in it as much or as little as you want, and use the service that suits you. You can mould it to how it fits you and how it's beneficial to you.
My last thought is, I am once and for all living, not just existing.